you have to ask yourself, why don't you love yourself enough to actually love yourself? A lot of people, most people, and this is true, confuse self-love with self-love. They only love themselves, meaning the self-identifying component and the ego. But everything else about them, their subconscious, and basically they only love the tip of the iceberg, but the whole mass of themselves they neglect. And the question becomes, why are you so self-absorbed? How are you so selfish to the point where you think you love yourself, but you only love yourself? You see what I'm saying? There's a catch to what I'm saying. You love yourself, but you only love yourself. You don't love yourself. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's so perplexing because it's really about seeing whether or not you believe you have the value or have the esteem or feel like you belong. And it's like, why do people do only the things that justify how shitty of a person they are? Why do people only indulge in the things that affirm a lesser state? What do I mean by that? It's like nobody wants to truly be on drugs. Everybody wants to be an independent spirit and an independent soul, right? So at the end of the day, every time we decide to do something like drugs and try to get pleasure from it, knowing it's fucking us up and it regresses us, we know we're fucking ourselves over, so then we create the self-image of somebody who's okay with fucking themselves over. But when it comes to stepping up and manifesting the life you want, it's so perplexing that people really don't love themselves. So the question is, why don't you love yourself? When did you learn that loving yourself was wrong? You know, and putting your mind towards the ends and goals that you'd like to achieve, becoming a better version of yourself. When did you download that into your programming and tell yourself that that was wrong? When did you download all the programming that all the things that you think are making you cool? When did you download that shit? Because it's really fucking your life, is it not? Everybody wants to grow. Everybody wants to increase some level of quality in their life. But time moves forward and people have actions that either stagnate, but there's no such thing as stagnation, so really just keep them stuck in one spot as life moves forward, and at the same time degrades their quality over a sustained period of time. Why don't you love yourself? Why do you have to argue with people, feel like you're persuading people or convincing people to do better for themselves, by themselves, for themselves? Why? Like, other person on the other side of this camera, on this YouTube right now, on this Instagram right now, ask yourself, why don't I love myself? Then your instinct will be, I love myself, but you don't love yourself. Because how many times a day do you actually fuck up your own day thinking that you're making your day better because you just don't love yourself? You can't sit with yourself. You don't have the gall to do what it takes, or the determination or the focus to do what it takes to really get what you want. But you'll settle for that lesser shit that fucks your life up. You don't love yourself. You could tell me all you want. You could talk all you want. You don't love yourself. You probably hate yourself. You hate yourself so much. Wow. And this is not to drill the idea of you hating yourself. It's really to raise you up to the recognition of the fact that although you think you love yourself, you don't love yourself. I say your world is yours all the time. Your world is yours. I'm not a person here saying my world is mine, my world is mine. I know that. I embody that. I personify that. We know that you're not putting shackles on my mind. You know what I mean? Nor am I going to put shackles on my mind. I'm the first person that I have to deal with. You feel me? In becoming the individual that you're being called to be. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And for people to win, for me to win, doesn't mean anybody loses. But there's people in this world that have such a level of insecurity, not self-love, because when you actually love yourself, you realize that you're so unique that there is no other you. There is no other you. So if you lean into being you and doing you Now, we all have different influences, right? Because we are social creatures and we are impressionable characters. But you take the good and you don't necessarily imitate, but you emulate. Now, if we're all at war, right? Everybody has a gun at this point. So you can't say, don't use this tool towards that end. But your style of gunslinging is your style of gunslinging. And how effective you get is just gonna only increase your stats in life. You see what I'm saying? So don't try to make it seem like, well, this person's doing fitness. Do fitness your own way. This person's doing this, and you do it your own way. Do it, you put you into it. All you gotta do is put you into it. It's like baking a cake. Thousands of bakers could bake cakes, but you gotta put you and your soul and your heart into the conjuring of your life, the concoction of your life. You have to put you in it. Imitation is not the key. Emulation will set you free, because there are great people who have done great things and who are doing great things, who have learned from great people who have done great things and are doing great things. And it would be very wise for you to learn how to get the tools, the mental tools, to get yourself started so that you can build. Too many people are too arrogant. They destroy themselves on the daily. Then they get mad at other people for living their lives. That's fucked up. Why don't you love yourself? Why don't you love yourself? Where the fuck am I? I'm in San Diego, California. Yeah, last year I was in fucking Miami. Less than 2 years into me deciding to say, fuck this, I'm pursuing my dreams at any cost, right? And I'm light years ahead of the game, G. That's real shit. Light years ahead of the game, you feel me? And it's why? Because I just choose to love myself. I never sold out. Why do you sell out? See, you think I'm gonna talk to you about, oh, your fitness and this, that, and the fourth. It's just a reflection that you don't love yourself. That's it. That's it. If you're not financially fit, physically fit, spiritually fit, emotionally fit, replace everything I just said with healthy, financially healthy, spiritually healthy, emotionally healthy, physically healthy. You're not healthy? You don't love yourself. Ask yourself, how many habits do I have that are actually health promoting? Constructive behaviors. Then ask yourself, out of all of my habits, let's say you have 20 powerful habits that you just habitually fuck with. How many of those actually slow me down, fuck me up, distract me, and put me away from my purpose? But you only do those things because they serve that iceberg tip of yourself.